I got just 30 seconds, though. What stocks are you looking at now?
Yeah, you know, look, for the last 30 seconds, we'll talk about NVIDIA because it's taken a hammer. I know it's coming back today. The hyperscalers have already reported NVIDIA is late. They're on August 28th. The hyperscalers said they're spending more money. Remember that NVIDIA is a supply side problem, not a demand.
So you're not worried about the delay in a Blackwell chip or anything like that?
No, there's stopgaps in there. They have other solutions. They'll get more orders. They'll give us better forward-looking guidance. And the Hopper chip is also showing promising results.
You know what
well.
I think
so
was I'm sorry, I was going to say what I thought was intriguing with NVIDIA. Got all the way back to 94. That's where it was pre-split when they announced the split. And investors, waited for the split to buy it up 120. Anyway, I'm in the same camp as you. Again, Jessica, congratulations. You're off to a flying start. We'll see you again soon.
And I mean, yesterday, NVIDIA was just a horror show, right? If you bought NVIDIA as it closed yesterday down 6.4%, you've seen pretty much erased. In fact, 2 seconds ago, it totally erased it. So the stock is up 6% right now. The AI chipmaker really struggled during the sell-off, at one point falling below $100 a share. Right now, we've got it at 106 and change.
We're going to talk to Kanter in a little bit, but let's get back to this.
Mr. Kanter.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Kanter.
Why don't you show some respect and ask him why he's taking NVIDIA's strong sell?
Mr.
And the Jensen's got 90%. The guy has worked for his whole life to have a great chip, of which yesterday we heard is too hot and not going to be late. It's going to be late.
You're very upset at antitrust enforcement.
Well, everybody decided they hate NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the whipping boy. It's the pinata of the moment. Okay?
Yeah.
And I happen to think that it's a great company. But you know what? I'm a loser and a joker. I'm a smoker. I'm a midnight toker.
So
you know what? I'm breathing the pompatus of love by liking NVIDIA. There you go. Pompatus of love, Cramer.
Pompatus of love.
I've Googled pompatus many times. You know what? I got to bing it after what Kanter did.
There's NVIDIA. You buy it today, Jim?
What?
Yeah.
NVIDIA?
Yeah. Just answer the question.
I'm not going to put my...
Answer the question.
I was going to come up with something really bad. I'm not going to say it, but it's so good. Oh, my God. I've got to tell it to somebody, not you. I do not want to go into that particular lion's den, okay? I'm not. There's a shiv. The guy has a shiv behind him. Come on.
Jensen?
No, Joaquin. Jensen isn't on the hot seat for no particular reason other than he has spent a lifetime developing a chip, which, by the way, the misinformation says is going to be really late. I heard that it burns way too hot, that all the things I said about it being ready are wrong. And
they're just going to sell more H100s in the interim.
Right.
So what's so bad about that?
Okay, you make sense. Why don't you go to the buy side and sell side instead of being whatever, the no side? Are you Switzerland?
I prefer the no side.
You're Switzerland?
Very much. Yeah, I try to be.
Okay, I'm watching a piece that the New York Times wrote not that long ago about regulators close in NVIDIA scrambles for a response. And I read this and I say to myself, is it possible, not unlike when Bobby Kennedy was the Attorney General, that there was a Get Hoffa squad there? I wonder, honestly, whether there is a Get Big Tech squad within the Justice Department.
I can assure you that no such thing exists. We follow the facts and the law. We're about rule of law. But I think it's important to kind of dispel this notion. We want companies to compete. We want companies to succeed. We don't bring very many antitrust actions every year. It's a small handful. And we only do so when the facts and the law support it. I spent, about 2 weeks ago, I was out in the Bay Area, and I spent time with VCs, founders from across the technology industry. And what I heard was that they overwhelmingly support our tech cases. Why? Because they want to build and invest in businesses that have the opportunity to succeed and become durable and thrive on the competitive stage. That's exactly what we want to promote, and that's exactly why antitrust enforcement exists in the first place. We're not interested in necessarily regulating companies. We are interested in making sure that the competitive market works so that the market can pick winners and losers, not the government or anyone else, or a monopolist for that matter.
Well, the government picked Intel as a winner in a different branch in commerce. That's not working out very well. I mean, maybe the government shouldn't be picking anybody.
I'm talking about our antitrust laws, and I'm talking about marketplaces.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Now, in terms of going back to NVIDIA, NVIDIA has a very large market share, grown over 20 years of a superior product. Can you just say, you know what, with that level of market share, we have to look into it because that's not right?
So market share alone does not necessitate or require us to look into a company or do an antitrust investigation. What we care about is whether a company that has a degree of market power is using that market power to squash out rivals. So one of the common themes in a lot of our cases is not the monopolist making changes to its own product. It's the monopolist telling others what they can and can't do in the market. The monopolist essentially functioning as a regulator for how other companies behave. That's the kind of stuff we care about. And a lot of our investigations and a lot of our cases, whether it's technology or concert tickets, deal with monopolists imposing requirements and restrictions on how others conduct business.
All right, let's talk about NVIDIA and the stock market as a whole. Today was a nice breather from the recent downward action that we've been seeing in the market. NVIDIA closed up on the day after selling off heavily yesterday. Is this a reversal? Is it just a bounce before moving lower? Time will tell. I think the main thing right now is to just stay calm and not panic. So recently, the market has been selling off quite a bit following the bad economic data we got last week, especially the jobs numbers last Friday, the triggering of the SOM rule, fears that the Fed has waited too long to cut interest rates, the unwinding of the carry trade in the Japanese yen, worries about escalation in the Middle East, and of course we are in August, which is historically a low-volume month in the stock market, which leads to erratic price action. And on top of all of that is an election year. So right now there is a lot weighing on market participants' minds. So is this a reversal or just a bear bounce? I don't know. Time will tell. Now let's talk about NVIDIA. Back on June 20th and 21st, I started telling you that I was expecting softening in NVIDIA's price and choppy price action, likely lasting into mid to late July. We got that. I also told you I was expecting pre-anticipatory running in NVIDIA once we enter August as we get closer to the company's next earnings report on August 28th. And I'll be completely honest, I keep going back and forth on the topic of pre-anticipatory running ahead of earnings. I think NVIDIA is likely to report a great quarter and is likely to report strong forward-looking guidance regardless of whether or not Blackwell is delayed. At the same time, I'm still trying to understand this market right now. If the entire market is fearful of recession, then that is going to weigh down on NVIDIA, like we've seen in recent trading sessions. I don't know what the future holds, so I'll just say this. I think NVIDIA is likely to report a great quarter, and in normal market conditions, I would absolutely be expecting pre-anticipatory running ahead of earnings. However, these are not what I consider normal market conditions, and therefore I am much more cautious right now. Whether or not you see pre-anticipatory running in NVIDIA stock ahead of earnings really depends on what the rest of the market does between now and August 28th. Long term, I am bullish on the future of NVIDIA, especially as more hyperscalers like Amazon, Microsoft, and Meta continue to increase capex spending by billions of dollars. If we see more substantial pullbacks in NVIDIA, then I may gradually add more. And if we don't see any more pullbacks between now and August 28th, then that is fine too. I'm not even going to try to guess what happens next at this point because it really does come down to what happens with the rest of the market. If the rest of the market moves higher, or at the very least remains calm, then I think NVIDIA moves higher in the short term. But if the rest of the market moves lower, it will weigh down on NVIDIA in the short term. With all of that being said, I hope you're all having a great day, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on NVIDIA in the comments below. Please leave a like on this video so more people will see it. And while you're down there, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.